I'll eat the fried okra while you talk recruiting.
You can have what's left of my crumbs.
If you read the stories at UGASports.com, 27 cents a day, you'll see a lot of comments about kids saying, I'm talking to the coaches and they're going to be thin at my position. I feel like I could come in and I get playing time as a freshman. That's very important to me.
Honestly, I think it's the number one lure for kids right now. I think that the ability to play early, nobody wants to stay for 4 years. You know, that's why every commitment you hear, no matter where the kid's rated, they say for the next 3 to 4 years. They want to get in, they want to make their impression, they want to get the film under their belt, and they want to get out and make their money.
We saw kind of in the recruiting updates that are going on right now. It's like, okay, well, if Tony Grimes isn't working out, you got to like Georgia's chances with James Williams, the number 20 player in the nation, the guy who could might push for a 5th star. You never know.
Was at one point.
James Williams, he releases his final 2, and it's Georgia and Miami.
What I'd heard over the course of the shutdown was that Clemson seemed like the team that was gaining momentum with Williams, not necessarily Miami. I hadn't heard much about the Canes. He is a former Miami commit, committed to them, I think, in 2018, so like as a sophomore. But it has ended up stepping back. I think this top 2 bodes incredibly well for Georgia. There's no denying really the results on the field.
That's the thing. Miami might have that early playing time. That's why I bring him up.
That's true.
But this is something that's going to bite Georgia again.
This is not a kid. I don't think that this is a kid that's all that concerned about that because he's such a rare specimen. James Williams, you're talking about 6'4", 215 pounds back there in the defensive backfield, can just run for days. Looks like an outside linebacker playing back there.
Okay, we gotta ask Coach about that. Coach, you got a 6'5", 215 pound safety. How common is that?
You don't see that often, but he's certainly got superior skills.
It feels like recruiting isn't as hot this summer with no in-person recruiting. Understatement. But he said, do you think things pick up big or we see some possible flips when and if recruits can visit campus again? I think it's going to be explosive. I think it's going to be insane because kids have been off the road so long. You got to think that those first couple of weeks back are going to feel, they're used to being treated like royalty. They've had this 4 months off or whatever it's going to end up being. And suddenly you're back in getting wined and dined and having everybody hanging all over you. I think you'll see a lot of quick commitments from that. And also in terms of flips, I do think that there will be a lot of flips.
The big question is, to me, when are they going to let these kids visit? When are they going to let the coaches go on the road? You see all these outbreaks where they're getting more people every day, having around these 4 hotbeds around the country. I'm not saying anything, but realistically, why would you let kids come in to visit your campus?
I think the best thing that can happen for recruiting to kind of be reinvigorated from all of this is for a season to happen and for people to be watching games and get excited about football and kind of feel connected to it. I think even if the visits aren't happening, I think you'll see commitments just based off if football is on TV.
I think too, Coach, you mentioned, the possibility of when you'd be able to get kids in. And this is not any inside info. This is just kind of my gut. But I think that the NCAA and the staffs obviously want to get that restarted as soon as possible. But I think the compromise you could potentially see would be saying you can have 2 guys on campus this week.
With the new system, missed spring practice, and then some of the recruiting visits being lost, when things are opened up and when kind of the football process is happening, as a head coach, how do you prioritize your time considering all of that's different?
So as far as the priorities, I would be, your present team, making sure they're ready for the games, and then recruiting would be, a high priority. But you got to get that system in, and it's in, but we got to practice it. That's the thing. We got to go out and physically execute it.
Roddy, I want to know what your end game is because we had the key lime beer from Academia, and now we got the key lime gelato from your pie. Are you going to get a key lime overhead door?
I'm sure they probably have some panels or key lime flavor door panels.
You're going to get the scratch and sniff on yours.
I'm just saying, if you do enjoy key lime, the best dessert in the history of the known universe, then our friends at Academia can hook you up as well as our friends at Your Pie.